Right now, let's go into our national perspective. We were joined by the NFL Network analyst Marc Sessler in today's National Perspective, brought to you by Global Transport.
All right, Mark. Last year, if we were talking at this time, it was just we were all riding high, straight to the Super Bowl. Let's go, can't be stopped. We know that's not how it all worked out. But this year, even though it's been a bizarre year for so many different reasons, once again, though, the Browns team led by Kevin Stefanski, maybe flying under the radar, but I know you are excited about this team's prospects and excited about the head coach.
You have a head coach in Kevin Stefanski and a general manager in Andrew Berry who appear egoless, highly organized, on the same page. And these rookie head coaches across the league have had to deal with unpredictable, incredible odds. And Stefanski, to me, and I've had people text me and come out of the woodwork and say, you have a good coach there. I want to let you know. I worked with him here, there. People know him. He is – I think the players have already come out in droves to say, this is a good communicator. He listens to us. He's with us. He has our back. And that just has not been the case when you've had, on this team or other teams, clashing front offices and coaching staffs. It's a huge help to not have that be the case. It's the opposite now. I don't know if that's going to help them get out to a fast start because of the injuries, the challenges, the other stuff that's going on. But I really think that by November, December, you're going to start to see what this Browns team is.
Yeah, Kevin Stefanski, I mean, you think about it, for a first-time head coach to deal with all the things that he's had to deal with, he'll make no excuses, but I think you said something very important, and all the players that I talked to, they say the same thing. He has our backs, and I thought, in yesterday talking about the decision to shorten practice in light of the social justice issues and the impact that these players want to make, he said, I'm here it's a time for listening and unity, and they said they wanted to practice. I was leaving it up to my players, and I think that's a pretty powerful statement in a very kind of what you would call an uncertain and unprecedented time.
It is. And I think the Browns as an organization have shown support to these issues really for years. It's not just this season, but now when it's needed the most, top down, I think that they have basically, we're in an era now where these players, this isn't football players from the 1950s where everyone just thinks that they put on pads and then in the off season they work in meat packing plants. These are incredibly intelligent, worldly guys. I had a chance to travel with a bunch overseas to a USO trip to Germany and Italy. And what I came away from most of all was today's NFL player is caring, compassionate. They understand and want to be part of social issues. And we are seeing it now in a way that we've never seen in any sports scenario in our life. And I think it's unifying these players, no matter what their backgrounds are, to see so many come out and say, we care, we want to make a change. And the coaching staffs have to be part of that. And Stefanski from the very beginning has made this a total priority. And it shows. We're not guessing that. We know that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you there. Now, turning our attention to on-the-field matters, you mentioned the challenges for installing new systems with no OTAs, no minicamps, and then you mentioned the injuries. And I know you followed me long enough to know that both Mack Wilson and Grant Delpit's injuries certainly hit very close to home for me, and couldn't be more excited than to see double deuces out there this year. How do you think this team responds to losing two young guys that were going to be big parts of what they did on the back seven?
Well, I think the problem a little bit is those two position groups were already question marks to some degree. And, I really liked moments from Mack Wilson last year. And just following him on Twitter, you can tell he put in so much work this offseason. So it hurt to see that. And when you look at Grant Delpit, they put a lot of investment into the draft pick. And Joe Woods, I liked his honesty. He sort of said, look, we had him scheduled to do things that we don't really have another guy on the team to do right now. So I don't know what that means, that you go out and look at someone like Logan Ryan or veterans out there. I think they'll be very active when cuts come, and they're going to probably – I think this is a front office that says we're always going to churn the roster. But I don't think Grant Delpit can really be, with who they have right now, replaced. But football players in general, this happens on every team. You got to find a way to rally. One thing is I think this was a team that probably was going to do a lot of 5, even sometimes 6 defensive backs and do very versatile things. It lowers what you can do, especially out of the gate, until maybe some of the other young players kind of develop. So it's a concern, but this whole team to me cannot be judged a month or two in. I think they're going to have to really stick to what works and then grow more experimental as the season goes on and they get used to working together. It's only been a couple weeks.
What do you expect from this offense. And I think that really is a question of what do you expect from Baker Mayfield this year?
I had someone text me after they drafted Harrison Bryant and said, you're going to fall in love with this guy. And I think we're seeing that in camp. And it's another reminder that this front office, it kind of reminds me when Kyle Shanahan landed in San Francisco, that the front office made it very apparent that they wanted to get Kyle Shanahan's team on the field, the kind of pieces he needs. And they did that very quickly for Kevin Stefanski, which is a good sign. I think out of the gate, the whole league is going to probably be running the ball in excess. And I could see Cleveland being one of the most run-heavy teams around. Why not? I mean, the only reason that Nick Chubb isn't talked about as a 1, 2, or 3 pick in fantasy and he's down at 10 or 11 is because you have Kareem Hunt. And so you've got these incredible riches in the backfield. And they've been playing well in this system, and I think they fit this system. You got a lot at tight end. So you don't need to be too freaky out of the gate. I think you do what works.
Mark, always a pleasure talking with you. Thanks for the time.
Hey, thanks, Nathan. See you soon.